Welcome back. It's Tip and Tara with Fit to Travel, and today we want to talk about our top 10 places to visit.
And these are 10 places out of all the places that we visited. We've counted, but I can't remember exactly, but we've been to, I'd say 30 to 40 different countries together, somewhere around there.
I don't think it's that many.
Yeah, it's right around there. But we are going to talk about our favorite places, and that's just off of our experiences and what we like. So, number one is, and these are in no particular order, but the number one that we want to start off with is Jamaica.
Yeah, this will always be one of our favorite places. We got married in Jamaica. We've been back 3 times now in the last 8 years, so
yeah.
It's definitely high on our list. We just love it. The people are super friendly, has great culture, great food. There's amazing jerk chicken there. If you've never had the jerk chicken in Jamaica, it's to die for. Great water, lots of excursions to do, so there's a lot to do, and I know some people tend to be a little bit hesitant towards visiting Jamaica, and I would just say that in all the 3 times that we visited, we've never had any issue. Everyone has been super friendly and hospitable, and we've done lots of excursions. So don't mark it off without giving it a try.
Yeah. Like Tara said, we've been there quite a few times. We actually got married there, and that was one of the reasons why we fell in love with it. But it's just such an amazing place, and the people there are great. They're so friendly. And we made a couple of friends since we've gone there a couple of times, and it's just a place that you definitely need to check out.
Yeah, our favorite resorts in Jamaica are the Sandals South Coast, which is at the bottom of the island, and then Secrets Wild Orchid, which is in Montego Bay. Those are our 2 favorites. And we think our must-do there is it's a 3-in-1 excursion. We did this back when we first got married, so 8 years ago, but it included a visit to the Black River, which there's crocodiles in the river, YS Falls, which Dunn Falls is a very, very popular waterfall there. YS Falls is, I think, just as great, but not as busy, or at least it wasn't. And it also included a visit to Rick's Cafe, which is a great spot to watch the sunset. It's also a place where a lot of people go and cliff jump. So they jump from the top of Rick's Cafe into the water, which is pretty crazy to see. So that was has been our favorite excursion in Jamaica when we have visited. You get to see a lot of different things culture-wise and check out the whole country, because you kind of do a big loop, not around the whole island, but a good part of it.
And like Tara said, she talked about it briefly, but the crocodiles there, I mean, that was one of the coolest things we ever done. You got to hold a baby crocodile, which was insane. Yeah. And then we were there so close to crocodiles, which, they're huge. A lot different than alligators if you've never seen them. Yeah,
and you could actually, on the Black River, you cruise down the Black River on it's like a little slow boat. It's not anything crazy, but you can actually jump in the Black River with the crocodiles.
Yeah.
We had people from our wedding party do that, and neither one of us did, but
too scared.
No, thank you. That's just crazy.
Well, he was the tour guide was like, oh, this is where a bunch of them normally live or hang out, and then they can submerge for, I can't remember what he said, 60 minutes. Yeah, a super long time. So they could be underneath you. And he also had some scars on him from when he'd been attacked, so we decided, no thank you.
Yeah, we chose not to.
Yeah.
So number 2 on our list is the Caribbean, and we are, again, going with Jamaica. We love the Caribbean. One of our favorite ways to explore the Caribbean is on a cruise, mostly because you get to see a lot of different islands in a short week or 10 days or however long you want to go. So it's a great way, if you don't know where you want to go in the Caribbean, a great way to stop by a lot of different places. The first cruise we did, we saw we did what,
Five different islands.
5 different islands, and then the next one we did 3 islands. So, you know, you can see a lot, and then you can decide which ones you really like and which ones you want to go back to. So very affordable way to travel, especially if you live on the East Coast of the U.S., because it's easy to get to. For us, it's not as easy in Oregon. Obviously, we have to fly down to like Florida or something. But and then again, just like most cruises, there's lots of excursions. So you can do all different kinds of shopping or beach tours or island tours or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So there's never a dull moment if you want that. Or you can just go to the beach and hang out for the day, you know. So there's lots of different options for that.
Yeah, and so it's a very affordable way to travel. If you've never been on a cruise or you're weary about one, go ahead and check out all of our cruise videos. I mean, we've been on 2 in the Caribbean and then 1 in Alaska. And, you know, for us, that's not our preferred way of travel, but we enjoy doing it every once in a while because it's makes it very inexpensive. The way that we do it, you can find, you know, cheap rates and all that type of stuff, and you get to see all these different places and just go explore. But I think cruises get a bad rap, and, you know, we don't lean towards cruises, but I think it's worth going on a cruise if you know, if you're looking to travel, and especially doing it in an inexpensive way.
Yeah, and all 3 that we've done have been great. You know, like, it's just, I think it's a great way to just see some new places. And you get to choose where you're going most of the time. Obviously, some things happen and you have to change the ports or whatever due to weather. But we've been super happy with all of our cruises, all 3 of our cruises that we've done. And just, you know, we were talking about doing another one this year just because we get to see more places easier.
Yeah. And the must-dos when you're there is we did... you know, when you're in the Caribbean, one of our favorite places that we stopped at was St. Lucia. And we did a cruise with St. Lucia, Spencer Ambrose Island Tour. It was super dope. He had this speedboat that just took us around the island, and then we explored what?
Oh, we drank a lot of rum punch.
We did drink that's a different story. Yeah.
We're in St. Lucia. This is Jealousy Beach, or also known as Sugar Beach now. We have a piton in the background. The other one is right over here.
Yeah,
in the
Twin
middle.
Peaks.
And Tip is drinking a piton.
This beer is absolutely delicious. I try all the local beers, and this beer is my favorite so far.
But, you know, it was cool. We got to go and, you know, because is it an active volcano? I don't
think it's active, but they have the 2 pitons there, and so you get to be kind of right in the middle of them, and they have like that sulfur, like mud bath thing in there. Smells like eggs.
Yeah.
And then we hung out at the beach right by like the bottom of the piton, which was cool.
Yeah, so it was very mountainous and very, so it's a lot different than the other Caribbean islands that we've visited.
Yeah,
I think
it's similar to Hawaii, I think, in the terms of like the topography.
Landscape.
Yeah, landscape with like it's got the great ocean, but it has the pitons, the mountains, and like lots of hiking and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. So number 3 on our list is another cruise, but it's Alaska, and we just did this recently, earlier this year, and it's just a cruise to Alaska. Went out of Seattle, and check out all of our videos on that. We got a bunch of videos on there, but this was also, we've always wanted to go to Alaska. We actually tried to plan to go before the pandemic, but then the borders were closed, and then so we had jumped on this opportunity to go to Alaska.
Yeah, this Alaska on a cruise was amazing. It was so beautiful, and we booked like super last minute. We booked like 3 weeks or something before we left. So that's the perk of being on the West Coast, is you just have to drive. For us, we just have to drive up to Seattle. and we could do that. We'd have to book a flight, but I would go back to Alaska on a cruise or not in a heartbeat, because it was so beautiful. We went in June, had like the most gorgeous weather
luckily for
ever.
us.
It was like 75 every day.
We packed a lot of warm clothes,
Yeah.
and we honestly didn't need much
No.
of it.
Had
which was
beautiful
crazy.
scenery. They have great seafood, crab, salmon, all of that. And there's
The
just
crab is just to die for up there. Like it's fresh. They probably just caught it that day.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things that we had up there was just fresh crab.
yeah, there was lots of crab legs, crab cakes, all that kind of stuff, which was delicious. And saw a lot of wildlife, but saw a lot of whales and sea lions and some like porpoises and all that. And you can see all of those from the cruise ship. You don't even need to do the excursions. Obviously, you get closer with the excursion, so it's I think a better experience. And you can watch all of our Alaska videos. We'll link them here because some of those different cruise or the different ports were just amazing with like the mountains right there. And I would say the must do in Alaska, at least if you're on a cruise, is either the whale watching excursion, or the dog sledding excursion. And we didn't get to do the dog sledding excursion, but I'm only recommending it because it's a super popular thing. It's obviously Alaska.
They fill up quickly, so
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why we weren't able to do it, being so last minute.
Yeah.
But also, I want to throw one in there, is the Dawes Glacier. If you're over
Yes.
up in that area, we got a video on that too. It was one of the coolest things. The ship could only get so close,
Mm-hmm.
and then so this is another popular excursion that we did, the Dawes Glacier, and you get on this smaller ice breaking boat, and then you get within 3/4 of a mile away from it or something along those lines, and you're right next to it, and it's just one of the coolest things. You get to see like when I don't know what it's called, but when the ice breaks off of
Yeah.
the glacier, like it happens
Caving or
periodically,
whatever,
yeah, and it
calving.
drops down. It's so loud, and then it just goes into the water and it creates these waves, and it's just one of the coolest experiences that I've had. Like I didn't know that was gonna happen, and then it happened, and it was like the sound that you get from that was worth every penny of that.
Yeah, no, that
excursion.
was definitely a must do too. I will say, we aren't big excursion people. Like, we like to go and do like 1 or 2 in a week-long thing. We don't really like to do an everyday thing. Alaska was the one place that we had a really hard time deciding. I had a really hard time deciding what we were going to do, because everything just looked so cool and so like unique. It's not things that you can do every day, right? Like you can't just go away from, like close to a glacier and like watch it cave or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And because of that, the excursions are also more expensive than you would typically find in the Caribbean. So know that going into it. Alaska cruises tend to be more expensive, and the excursions, Alaska cruises tend to be more expensive, and the excursions tend to be more expensive. But I think the prices that we paid, I would do it again.
Yep.
So just know that going into it, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Number 4 on our list is Japan. And Japan is great. We went,
2017.
5 years ago now.
Yep.
And we did a lot of cities for the time that we were there.
We're there like 10 days, 10 to 12.
I think we were there 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah,
But we
so.
did like 4 different cities. We did a lot. And it's just, there's so much to see in Japan, but it's really easy to get around. Like the train system is amazing.
On time.
Amazing. It's on time. It's super clean. The people are so polite, and it's really easy to navigate, even if you don't speak Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
The food is really good. They had so much good ramen. We went to this little place. I think we were in Takayama when we went to that sushi place.
Yeah, Takayama.
So we were in Takayama, and like you know, I speak very little Japanese.
She
very
took
little.
4 years
Yeah.
in
No, I
high
didn't take
school.
4 years.
Oh.
I took 2 years
2 years.
in high school, a long time ago. So I know very little. I know a few phrases, but where we were, the chef, we went to this sushi place, and the chef like didn't speak English at all.
He was like 89 years old.
We spoke very little Japanese. The words I know are not like food words like sushi or whatever, fish wise. And so he just basically says, or, you know, kind of hand gestures that he's just going to make us whatever. And so we're like, okay. And it's like this 5-course meal basically of like all these different sushi, raw fish, which I'm not a huge raw fish fan, but everything was just so good and so fresh.
Yeah, she
and
had octopus.
Yeah.
Which that's something she would never do.
yeah, I would never do it. But I didn't know what it was, so that also helped. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like, I'll just try it. But, you know, you can find really good sushi everywhere, fish, that kind of stuff.
生姜はね、食べた後少しつや消し。
その新しい観光スタイルを体験してきましたよ。走ってガイドをしてくれるのは地元の町おこしメンバー、町おこしグループのメンバー川村誠さんです。はい、行きましょうか。行きましょう。はい、お願いします。
Obrigado.
今回走るのは川村さんおすすめの6キロのコースです。フォームが安定してますよね。なんで始めなかったんですか。
もともと走るのが好きで、何か組み合わせて街をご案内できることができればいいなと思って。
最初にやってきた見どころは。
I got the
And Nara, Japan is where they have the deer all around. They're just like,
Yeah, Nara is south of Kyoto. Is that so? It's about a 30-minute train ride south of Kyoto, and it's this city that has basically domesticated
Yeah.
deer that I'll pop up on the video right now. But make him bow. Make him bow.
getting crazy.
Relax. Relax. Basically, you go to this town and then they just roam around and they'll bow to you. And then you give them some food and they're all bow to you. They'll surround you. So be wary of it. Like don't be afraid like Tara is in that video of like for the first time. I mean, you know, deer are coming up to you and they surround you like no others. But it is one of the coolest experiences. Like we took a selfie with a deer just sitting there. Like it was one of the coolest things. Like, and you know, like I go into a lot of these not knowing a bunch of stuff what we're gonna do, and Tara's like, all right, well we're gonna venture down here, and I'm like, kind of being a pain and like, okay, why are we doing this? And then once we like start walking around, I'm like, oh, I see why we're doing this. Like it was super cool.
It was super cool. They were like everywhere and just hanging out and that kind of stuff, which was awesome. Another must-do in Japan is obviously Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
That is...
So Mount Fuji was we took a bus out there, and like, you know, I don't know, it's about an hour ride from Tokyo, like where we're going from. And as you're approaching it, you see it, it's just like, it's so massive that you're like, wow, it was a moment like me just sitting on the back of the bus, and then I just see it out of nowhere, and I was just like, wow, that's super cool.
Yeah, and we have, I mean, this is nothing compared to Mount Fuji. We have Mount Hood here in Oregon, which is beautiful, but like, and so we see mountains, or a mountain, pretty much, well, on a clear day we see it all the time. But it still is nothing compared to like Mount Fuji. And so if you live somewhere that doesn't have mountains, especially, I think it would be like so like what's the word, like awestrucking.
Sure, we'll go with awestrucking.
Like take your breath away.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I don't have words for it.
Yeah. No, I love Japan, and it was one of the best things I love about, like Tara said, the city is very clean. Like they make sure they keep it clean. They not the country is very clean. Like they barely have trash cans around anywhere because people don't produce a lot of trash. So like you don't see trash in the streets. And it's just something, people are super polite, and I just love that the trains were literally always on time. So no matter what, you knew you could get to where you wanted to get on time because everything was going to be on time.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's not like that everywhere.
No. Number 5 on our list. This was a big bucket list one for me when we were planning this, and it is Greece, Santorini. Well, Greece and Santorini.
Santorini was your bucket list.
Was on my bucket list. Yeah.
Yeah, you really wanted the like white. Everything in Santorini is like white and the blue water, so like it like really has like that contrast, which is very beautiful when you get there. It's very Instagrammable, picturesque.
That's why I wanted it. Well, selfies. And...
Picturesque. We stayed in like a little. It was an Airbnb at the time. I don't think it's still around, or as an Airbnb at least. And it had like its own little
hot tub
right outside that you could just like look out on the water. It was amazing. And
yeah, it was one of the caves, one of the ones that you see in the picture, which will show all these videos and pictures. But it was so cool. I mean, we spent 2 nights there, 2 or 3 nights, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 nights, and it was just. I mean, it was worth every penny, every second. Like it is. If you can make it there, it will not disappoint. Especially if you can go and stay, because I know a lot of people will do a cruise on that, but I recommend not doing the cruise because what happens is if you do the cruise, you're only there for a certain time. If you're there for sunset, it is just crazy, crazy busy. The streets are narrow. If you got big shoulders like us, it's hard to walk down the streets. But one of the coolest things was when cruises weren't there, you know, we were staying in Ia. I believe that's how you pronounce it. We're staying in Ia, and you get to walk the streets, and they're not empty, but they're just there with the people that are there. So it makes it very, very good.
Yeah, what we started doing is we would get up early before the cruises arrived and go and like, you know, take pictures or go around town or whatever. And then as it got more busy because the cruise came in, so like around 10 or 11, we would kind of go back to our place, which was nice that we had like that little pool hot tub thing. And then again, after like 5 or 6, we would go back out. So, I mean, we would still go out, but like those are the times that it's going to be less busy as before the cruise and after the cruise. So if you're coming on a cruise, just know that it's going to be busy because it's a popular spot too. And they're very good gyros.
Amazing gyros. I mean, we only know from one place because if you know us, you know our channel. if we find a place and we like it, we generally go back. And I mean, this Euro was amazing. And at the time, this was, I think,
2015.
2016. Anyway, somewhere around there. But you know, the everything was super cheap at the time.
It was a really good euro to U.S. not euro food, but the euro dollar to U.S. dollar rate was really good.
Exactly. I mean, I think these humongous euros were probably $3 to $4 or something along those lines, which
was
is
super good.
Yeah. And IA, which is, you know, the most popular, I think, the one that you will see that's taken in all the pictures and drone shots and everything. That is the place that everybody goes to watch sunset. And so we were lucky and blessed that we were staying there and just being able to find a good spot to watch so many, 3 nice sunsets.
Yeah, it's a great spot. The other thing that we really liked there was the Santorini, it's a sunset catamaran cruise. So you go out, it was like 10 people on the boat or something like that. You go out before sunset and like kind of cruise around the island, and then they take you out to the water and, watch the sunset, and they, have food and drinks and all that kind of stuff, which we always love doing one of those like catamaran cruises, but that was a great spot to watch the sunset too.
And if I remember correctly, they had good food on that one too. Was that lobster on that one?
Probably.
Yeah. That one was delicious.
Yeah. Okay, number 6 on our list is Antigua. And we just went to Antigua this last spring, and it is up there on our list, obviously, mostly because it has wonderful beaches. So if you haven't watched our Antigua 10 Best Beaches video, we'll link that here so you can watch that, because there are 365 beaches on Antigua.
One for every single day of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. What that means, though, is the beaches, or at least most of the beaches, don't really get overpopulated, because there are so many different, like every little turn of the island, there's another beach. So there's amazing beaches no matter where you're staying, and some of the most like beautiful water that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Super clear, super blue, just a great place to go. Very easy to get around the island. Tip did all the driving, but you can rent a car and it's super easy. It's nothing, super easy for me because I'm the passenger, but he did say it was super easy. Right?
Sure. I'm gonna leave you on this island. No, it's easy to get around, and that's one of the coolest things is like we basically we were staying on one side of the island, and then one day we just drove basically to the other side of the island, and that took probably maybe 45 minutes, something along that. But like we went around the entire island, not in one day.
Yeah,
different
days.
Yeah, different days. But I mean, you can go around the entire island, and it's besides the city of St. John, right? That we stayed in, like, traffic there is a little iffy, but everyone's, polite. They understand the rules. They let you go by. But like when you get outside of the city, like the roads can be a little bumpy here and there, but outside of that, the driving is easy. And that was one of the coolest things, was just being able to like, okay, this beach is awesome. Let's go see another one. Cause like there could be one just 5-10 minutes down the road and it looks completely different than the one you were just at. And also if you can see weather, like, okay, there's weather going to be on the east side today, then you can hang out on the west side. So that was one of the coolest things. It's like, okay, there's rain over here, let's drive a little bit further south or a little bit further east, and then we'd find a beach where it was just clear. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and they don't really have like highways or freeways there, so you're not like driving fast. It's mostly just, it's like you said, St. John's is more congested, stop and go congestion, but they're not like speeding in and out of places or that kind of stuff. So it's usually like you're one lane, or one lane each way, going to and from most places.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're like us and you enjoy not crowded beaches, it's a place to go to, like Tara said, because you can find a beach an amazing beach, and then you could be one of a few people on there or the only people on there. So if that's something that is your style, awesome. We understand that the world is meant for other people too, but we just prefer less people on the beaches if possible.
Yeah. We don't mind a few, but we don't want thousands on the same beach as us.
Yeah.
So no offense to anyone, but our must-dos for Antigua, we actually have a few. The island tour with Creole Island Tours. They take you out on the catamaran around the island, and they had the best lobster
We've ever had.
Delicious,
hands down. Best ever.
It was so good. They caught it that day. They took us out snorkeling. It was amazing. I saw turtles, which was always good. I love seeing turtles.
The crew was awesome.
the
They
crew
were
was
great.
awesome.
And they just made it so fun. Like it was a great trip. And everybody on the boat was super friendly too, like the other guests. Like we had a great experience on there.
Yeah. And then the other must-do is sunset at Shirley Heights. They do a Thursday night and a Sunday night barbecue. So you have to pay to get in, and then you have food and drinks that you can pay to purchase. But you're up high on the island, and so you're overlooking as the sun is like dropping into the water. So they have music, live music, and that kind of stuff. It's a really cool thing to see. If you guys haven't caught on, we love sunsets. I love sunsets, and food. So those are, I would say, the must-dos in Antigua.
Yes. Okay, so this one is actually probably on the top of places we've been in general.
It should be number one.
Yeah, it's probably number one, which we haven't had a chance to go back, but enough with the suspense. Number 7 is the Cook Islands. Oh man, do we love the Cook Islands. And we've been trying to go back, but the borders were closed for a while, and then so we might be trying to plan to go back, but the Cook Islands are amazing.
So amazing.
We can probably just stop. One of the coolest things, the people are so amazing and friendly there. That's probably the thing that stood out the most. But like just so great. Like you felt like you were family wherever you went. With people that you've never met before, and then they just literally, it was like a different world to go there on the islands that we were on. So that's one of the reasons why I really liked it.
Yeah, they were very welcoming. This lady picked us up. Okay, so we were traveling had gotten in. I can't remember if we got in on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, yeah.
Again, we got in on a Sunday, and
everything's closed.
Yeah,
basically.
Most places are closed on Sunday. So we were walking.
It was like 95 degrees.
To get money or something. I forget.
To go to the ATM.
Yeah, I think we're going to the ATM. And this nice lady just pulls over and
she was coming from church.
Yeah, she was just like, "Do you guys need a ride?" You know, we're just like two random people. And we're like, no, it's okay. We're trying to refuse. And she just keeps insisting no, come on, get in the car. And so luckily for her, because we probably would have died in the heat.
I mean, it was a good mile walk
Yeah.
from where we were staying to go get some money. And she literally would not take no for an answer. She's like, you get in the car right now. Yeah. And then she offered for us to go and have dinner with her that night, that type of stuff. And then another quick story was we were just chilling on the beach, and there's this group of locals just to the left of us, probably 100 yards away from us. And Tara and I were just hanging out, probably taking sunset pictures, selfies, all of that. And then a couple of people come over to us and they said, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, just hanging out." And they're "Come join our party." And we're like, "Wait, no, it's okay, no worries." "Yeah, come on." And they basically dragged us over to their beach party, and it was a luau type. It was so cool. They had roasted pig, and we sat there, we danced, we had so much fun. That type of experience is something that you can expect on the island. I mean, it's been a while since we've been there, but I imagine that's how it is. The hospitality was just insane.
Yeah, the people are just great. The culture is awesome. It's a really laid back island too, so it's pretty low key, especially if you go to Atitaki, which Atitaki is a more remote island. It's the most beautiful island we've ever been to. Has like crystal blue, like see-through water, and like you can walk to 1 Foot Island. That's how shallow it is the whole way.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Words can't describe.
We absolutely love Cook Islands,
Yeah.
but there's great snorkeling, great fishing. You can
What's
hike.
that type of fishing? Sorry.
I don't know.
Anyway, so.
You can hike. There's lots of hiking, but you can do what they call the cross island trek. So you can hike from one. It's also mountainous as well, but you can hike from one side of the island up and over. So you go up the mountain and then back down the other side, and you're basically like using tree limbs and tree roots to like pull yourself up at some point. Like not anything like dangerous, but
Yeah.
it's like an old.
It's treacherous.
Yeah, and it's pretty intense, and there's lots of mosquitoes. But it was awesome because you get to the top and you get to see this view overlooking everything, and then you climb back down basically the same way you got up. So we'll link our Cook Islands videos here because we absolutely loved the Cook Islands. And
another quick story about how friendly people were. At the end of that, we were dead tired and we're walking down the road, and then these people were like just hanging out by the waterfall that we finish at or whatever it was, and then we're just walking down the road, and then they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "You guys want to ride?" And they had a big pickup, and then we're like, "No, it's okay." They're like, "No, get in." And then they drove us back down to where we were staying. And, this is probably only a 20-25 minute ride, but like that was like, to me, that's just insane.
Yeah. And we would have been in for it if we were going to walk.
Yeah, exactly. It probably would have been a 45.
We would have made it, but
yeah.
it just, people are so friendly on the island. It's amazing. You guys can hear how much we love it. But the must-do when you go to the Cook Islands, you need to visit Atitaki. Rarotonga is where the international airport is, so you'll obviously go to Rarotonga, but Atitaki is a whole nother level. And if you do a lagoon tour, we did it with Teking Lagoon Cruise. That's who took us to 1 Foot Island, so they take you around, stop at different motus, and you walk from one of the motus across the water to 1 Foot Island, and you have like a little picnic lunch. It was amazing. Atitaki is to die for. Okay, number 8, and this one is very, very, very similar to the Cook Islands. The French Polynesia. We just got back a little bit over a month ago from French Polynesia, and we're already looking at the next time we're going to go back because we loved it. Like I said, very similar to the Cook Islands. We now have a direct flight from Seattle, so it's easier for us to get to. So that makes a big difference. But there's so many islands to visit. There's like 118 islands to visit there. So many things to do. Lots of great snorkeling. There's whales, sharks, lots of fish. The views are just picturesque. It's like you see, when you see Bora Bora, that's what French Polynesia is. So again, the people are super friendly. We met some awesome people when we were there. Still talking to them and like planning for when we go back to visit them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, French Polynesia is awesome. Like Tara said, Bora Bora is there, and we crossed off another bucket list, which was staying in an overwater bungalow. That's definitely worth it. It's pricey, but yeah, it's worth it if you're gonna go all the way down there. And then we visited 4 different islands, and they were all great. Huahine was probably our favorite, and it's just a place you gotta go and visit. Make sure you check out our videos on that.
Yeah, the must-dos in French Polynesia: swimming with whales, It's one of the only places you can swim with whales. So do it on Moorea. It's amazing. You get to be like a few feet from the whales. And then the Huahine Nautic has like a 3-in-1 island tour, which we'll link a video to that one. But Huahine, like Tiff said, was our favorite. And you get to see some beautiful places of the island.
Number 9 on the list is Italy. This was on the trip that we went to Santorini in Greece, and Italy's awesome. You know, the wine is so cheap and so good. Like I remember just getting a big jug of wine that was homemade at this restaurant on the Amalfi Coast, and I think it was like $4 or $5.
Yeah, the house wine over there at this time was like $5, and it was good house wine.
Yeah, and then also like just, you know, lots of food, lots of pasta, just lots of history there, and it was just a super good place.
Yeah, our favorite in Italy was the Amalfi Coast. So I think a lot of people go to more Rome and that kind of stuff, but the Amalfi Coast, especially more, we stayed in Reveo, I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's near Positano, but it's like a smaller town right on the water. It's great views. It's easy to get to Positano from there, but it's a little bit different feel than like the middle of Rome.
Yeah. And last but not least, I put this one last specifically because it's where I'm from, which is Laos, which is located, if you guys don't know, right between Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam. But we went there back in 2015. Went to my first time going back since I was 3 years old. So that was one of the coolest things we got to experience. And, you know, we went there, we stayed with my family on a little island down south, and it was super cool. And we had just got married like 5 months before that. And then so we actually were able to do a Laos wedding for my family back there. So that was one of the coolest things that we got to experience.
And for me, I mean, just culturally, it was just such a different experience. Laos in general, but like the marriage ceremony too, like how different it is from like an American wedding, and all the different traditions that they do and that kind of stuff. So it was really cool to see. But then just visiting different places like Paksay, you know, where they just, it's not as popular as like Vientiane or Luang Prabang. So visiting some of those like lesser known cities and really getting to like experience actual Laos, as opposed to, I think we tend to always go to like the main city or like what's popular, and you just get to experience a whole different culture, like all the temples, so much good delicious food, like pho for like $5, probably not even $3, like $3.
Yeah.
You know,
at
like
the time, yeah.
It's just amazing. And I think everyone wants to go to Thailand or Vietnam, and Laos just kind of gets overlooked, which I don't know why, but it's an amazing place. Like I love it, and now that things are opening up, we can go back, plan a trip to go back.
Yeah, the people are also friendly, and it's really cheap when you get there, and it's just like, it's very, you know, it's under the radar, but if you put it on your radar, you will not regret. Yeah,
it's a very beautiful place.
Yeah.
I will say the must-do while you're there is try to visit during Songkran, which is the Laos New Year celebration. So it's a huge water festival, basically a water fight.
Yep. Everybody takes a week off, like no matter what, like basically everyone takes a week off.
And when we were there, people are just like squirting you with water guns. Like you have to be so prepared to, we actually went out and bought water guns because we didn't have anything, but like people will have hoses and buckets and everything. So like they're just spraying you no matter where you're going. So you need to make sure that you have like water protective gear. But it's an awesome experience to be over there for Songkran.
And also, the must-dos is just try to travel up and down the country if you can. It's a very great place and underrated.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so there you have it. Those are our top 10 favorite places that you should visit Those are all places that we've been and we absolutely love. So if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We'll get more out for you soon.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions about any of those places we've been to, drop a comment below or send us an email, visit our website, all that stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. See you in the next one.